What's happening? About time we did a Karen update. So I thought I'd check in, give you an update on what's going on. I know it's been long awaited. It's actually been maybe a year since I've done one on the tube. I occasionally tease with little bits on the ground, but you know, whatever. So the point of this video is I'm going to quickly show you what I've got going on, what's in the plan, why it's taken so long, and you know, the bits I've collected so far, and the one bit I think I need to get, maybe two bits, before I can start laying out the whole car, planning stuff, bits and pieces. But until then, let's check it out. It's time to see this beach. Brake system. I've thought about the brake system, you know what I mean, long and hard. I don't know, well, I didn't know what I really wanted to go for, but the way I see it is it was going to have the same sort of power as Rita Sue. It's got to have, it's going to be lighter. Okay, it's going to be rear-wheel drive. It's going to be lighter, definitely. So it's got to have a similar braking capacity. And then I started thinking, well, this has got a really good brake setup. This really does stop well. It hasn't got 20 grand's worth of brakes on it. It hasn't even got 5 grand's worth of brakes on it. It's got the Rayland 343 kit on it, the bells, blah blah blah, for the Focus. So it's got the Brembo Focus RS calipers, or Fiat 20 valve turbos, exactly the same. You can get them for about 150 quid a pair. Don't buy them all because you're probably going to buy more. But that is a really good brake setup. So I'm like, why don't I get Brembos, do the same setup, use the same rotors, so then parts are starting to be interchangeable. And then I started thinking, actually, that makes really good power. I don't need more power than that for the KA, because that'll be roughly the goal, because I have a horsepower target. So brake-wise, that'd make sense. So then I can share pads, discs, rotors won't be the same, loads of bits and pieces with the Focus and the KA. So it's kind of like if I need something, or I have one set of spares for both cars. So I thought that was really smart. So then I started thinking more and more, like power wise, throttle body. So that's got the same, I've ordered the same throttle body as that, which is off of a Porsche Cayenne. I think it's Cayenne. But when I ordered that, when I got it originally, there was absolutely shitloads of them on eBay, loads. Now, I'm struggling to find them, and it seems to, weirdly, because I think it shares a part number with the Carrera GT. So I've seen them for like £700 second hand, and I've also seen them for £120. So every time I see them for £120, I buy one, because I'm like, I think at some point other people will have started collecting them, so that makes sense. And it works really, really well on that car, so why not? I'm also going to use the same throttle pedal because I bought 5 of them, because I'm a nutcase. But I kept thinking I had a fault. It was either my wiring or something was going on when I bought it. So I kept buying the same pedal because we made a billet plate to mount in the Focus. So every time I put the pedal in, I'd get weird settings and the throttle body would go, whoop. It was a PID tuning, it was something else, and I think I had a weird wire on a plug with tails that I bought for it. So that was, I know I'm digressing, but it's kind of all information, right? So the point is, the throttle body, the pedal, so I kept buying other pedals, so I've got loads of spares for that. That means I've got spares for the KA, and then I was like, so throttle body's the same, blah, 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 loads of bits and pieces, the exhaust's going to be made up. And then I was like, well, what do I do about pedals? never had a pedal box before. Doesn't need to be assisted, because it's going to be a road car, but it's going to be also a track car. So what do I need? I need a pedal box. So I started getting the juices flowing, and I realised that what you need, or what I wanted, was a Tilton 600 series. Now, these pedal boxes, this one's brand new basically, it's sat in a car, it's sat in, I'll tell you in a second what it's been sitting. I started looking online, I started looking at pedal boxes, OBP, motorsport ones, and comp brake ones. I started looking at them, I started reading reviews online, and it was hit or miss. And obviously a pedal box is really, really fucking important. So I was kind of like, well, what do I actually need? So I'm flicking around, I know, because I'm trying to calm down. I'm excited, because I think this is quite exciting stuff. And I want to share with you my thought process of why I've chosen these specific items. And hopefully you agree. If you don't, tell me in the comments. I'm open to suggestions. And I'll tell you, if you want, I can tell you exactly what I've paid for this stuff, because I think I've got it all, I didn't steal it on price, but I've got it very cheap, which there could be a reason for that. Maybe this stuff is garbage. But the Tilton stuff, I used to think it was called Titan, but it's Tilton. The 600 box seems really good. Now, I didn't want a floor mounted box, and I'll show you in the car why, because the way the floor goes, if you had a floor mounted box, it would push my seat so far back. Andy in the Mexican, he said that he never thought about that. He put it in the car and then realised the seat was so far pushed back, or the seat with the cage is in a position where his legs are cramped up. Now I'm 6'4", so I can't have that. So I've gone for a top slung, reverse mounted box. That's what I wanted. That's what I was like, this is what I think I need. I looked on the Tilton website. I think they're like 450 quid with no reservoirs. With no cylinders, sorry, no masters, and yes, it's got no master cylinders, no clutch cylinder obviously, so you've got to have the front and the rear system and the clutch cylinder, reservoirs and a bias control and the bias bar. I think the bias bar comes with pedal box for 450, and each one of those cylinders, master cylinders, is about £180. And I started going, this is adding up real. All of a sudden, you're like 200, that's 600 quid, then that's £1,000, then only reservoirs. Oh, and then the old front to back bias is another 100 quid. You're like, oh, I've just spent 1,200 quid on pedal box, this is really expensive. I ain't got calipers yet, or fuck me, it got out of control. So, did a little bit of research. Gosh, these come in aerial atoms. So I went on a few forums and I found a guy that was breaking an atom. This, you can look at the grip tape. I think it's just like skateboard grip tape. This, I don't think this has really ever been used. There's a little bit of wear on the side here, but it is as good as new. And it's got all the cylinders. Now that's a 0.7 for the clutch. They're all 0.7s. My plan is, what I'll do is I'll use, because I don't know, I use Chat GPT to figure out bits and pieces, and it told me a bunch of stuff. So I was kind of of the impression, aerial atoms, or aerial, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing. Atom is an absolutely mental car, and I've driven a couple, and fast as fuck, brake like shit, like brake amazing. So I was like, well, surely they know what they're doing. So I got this whole thing complete for 420 quid. Now, I thought that was a bit of a steal. So it's exactly what I mounted. Like you can see here, it's like proper, it's stout, it's not going anywhere. This is a nice bit of kit. Let me have a look like this. Obviously it mounts at the top there. I've sprayed it all in WD-40 while it's in the garage. But it's a proper nice bit of kit. Like, I think this is going to need a bit of servicing. Obviously that's going to be mounted, blah blah blah, and it's not going to work until it's mounted up, and that might even need fully replacing, but whatever. So I've gone for the Brembo, same as the RS, so I can share pads, all servicing kit, everything I need. I've already got a kit for the RS, so I can use those. The I'll come to the discs in a minute. These are off of an M2. I think they're an upgrade for the 140 as well, but I don't particularly know. But these are rear, so these are also, again, Brembos. So I wanted to keep it Brembo, proper, you know, good shit. These are obviously 4 pistons, these are twin pistons. So I didn't want slidey, I wanted proper brakes. I started to look at APs, I started to look at wheel wood on the rear. Everything became horrifically expensive. All of a sudden, you know what I mean, you start looking at it, and all of a sudden everything just goes price-wise. And then all the budget you had that sort of made sense, you've just spent it on brakes for like everything. You're like, oh shit. I kept trying to get talked into AP 5000R Pros or Pro 5000Rs, whatever they're called, by people who are very bad influence, and I just don't have the budget for it. So these, I think, are going to be absolutely perfect. Now, they don't come with a handbrake. This obviously can't have a handbrake, but I'm going to get a hydro with a lock. If it hasn't got a lock, I'll make one. But I want a hydro in it because obviously rear-wheel drive. I'm going to have a lock on it. So that'll be fine. Doesn't matter. But these are standard 345 millimeters. So 343, 345. I'm obviously going to have to design bits and pieces for this to mount to, and to get the positioning right. So I then, bear with me, I'm just going to get a rotor out. I know it's a bit wordy, but there's going to be loads of other car stuff in it. I'm going to chop it in and change. I'll mix bits about, mix it, whatever. So these are big. These are big boys. These are the 343s off the Focus front. I have a 2-piece set up on the rear of that as well. So this is going to be front and rear on the KA. Different bells, obviously, because these on the front, these on the rear, they're going to be different. Blah blah blah. But this is just a test to get me start for 10 really, and I'll show you some other bits in a minute. But this puts me somewhere roughly the same braking on the front as the Focus. These are 345, so obviously this is going to be more than enough. These are 2 millimeters wider than this standard, so all I'm going to have to do is when I get a brand new set of pad for these, is put them in the mill and take 2 mil off. Well, these are 2 mil thicker, so I need to take 1 mil off, or I might take 1.5 mil off each side of these. So then that'll fit in there perfect. So now I'm sharing rotors with the Focus, and I'm using the same rotors front and back. So that's cool. Now I'm thinking these might overpower the rear of the car a lot. And I was reading about proportioning valves, which I think this is. I'm going to need to do some investigation. But when I run all the lines, obviously I've got a bias here on the pedal box, front to rear. So that will allow me to have my front to rear control. Obviously, if it starts swapping ends, put more on the front, just to get my percentage right. And then I'm going to have this inline to the rear. So this will be whatever the rear one is. Can't figure it out now. But the rear one, that will then enable me to dial out the rear if I need to. I've never had a pedal box, so I have no idea, but I know that you do need one of them in line, I think, for some reason. So I'm going to put one in line. You know, if I wind it all the way out, it'll be all right, and it won't be like it's impacting it. Or OBP, there you go. And if I do need to, you know, wind the rears right off, because I'm going to do a burnout. So be it. It's done. So that's my idea on the braking. Don't think I've got much more about the braking, but see, I've got bits. And I think so far, I am well under £1,000 for the lot. So I don't think that's too bad, considering you can spend second-hand 1,500 quid on 6-pot APs. So I wanted to stick with the Brembo because the Focus has got the Brembos. These are Brembos. I've even got like a little thing in them somewhere. I'm sure I saw it, and that's why I got them. Anyway, I'll find it at some point. But I was gonna give them a service, but I'm literally going to change the pads on them and make sure they, they work. And that'd be it. Well, there was a little Brembo thing on it, I thought. So anyway, but what I've got to do is make mounting brackets for both of those. This is going to mount to the cage underneath the steering column. Obviously, that's a whole different thing. These are going to need mounting brackets first. So this is going to be my first project. Mounting brackets and positioning for these to the hubs that I've got, and bells to suit discs. So I've got a pair of discs so I can work on the front and the rear. Bosh. I hope you agree. You might not agree, and if you don't agree, tell me why you don't agree, because I thought I was quite clever doing this, but that usually means I'm wrong. So someone who's smarter than me could tell me why this is a shit idea. But twin pot, these piston sizes are slightly bigger than a single one of those. So I was kind of thinking surface area, braking, clamping force is going to be less than this regardless. And I've got bias and proportioning valve. Tell me why I'm wrong, if you know. Or if this is a great setup and it's cheap, because these were £130 delivered, and these I think were about 200 quid. And the company gave me money back because this got fucked up in the warehouse. They sold it to me as mint and it got a bit banged up, but I didn't give a shit because they're not staying this colour. Or they will to start with, and then once I've proved it all and it all works, bosh, we'll go something Larry. But I did like these. I liked these little bits on it. I thought it's a nice little detail because it's like, oh, they shouldn't be on a KA. Nice, isn't it? Anyway, let's move on to the next bit. I don't know about you guys, but I've started collecting bits. This is my spare 2 litre bottom end. Got it this week. £140 delivered. I've checked all the balls are all good. A little bit of something decent. I've got an old windage tray back there. That's an upper sump. It's a Focus upper sump. Also, a complete ST170 motor. Complete. 200 quid. I feel like I'm like the bone collector or some shit. Denzel Washington in his prime. That was a good film, that was, actually. But yeah, I've noticed that ST170 motors are becoming extremely expensive. So I got a head. Head's in post somewhere. It got posted ages ago. I don't know where it's gone. I think I got a complete head for 200 quid. Considering I just bought a complete low mileage motor for 200 quid as well, that seems a bit steep. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to really break the head down and have a look at all the different aspects of it and see why it's better than a blacktop head, standard blacktop head. Just have a look, just a bit of learning, whatever. Anyway, I'll bring you along for it if you're interested. If not, don't worry about it. But let's go outside and look at the car. Right, so here's a quick update of the inside and what I've got so far. So, gearbox wise, I've shown you before. It's in the back of the van. Got RX8, RX8 diff, RX8 prop. So, that's 231. So, I've been told that diff can do 500 horsepower. Now, I don't know for sure if that's true, but I'm going to go with it because, that's what I've been told. Now, not 100% sure that's accurate, but if you know different, let me know, because now's the time I can change it out. But the plan is, I have got, right, these are off of a Mini Cooper, I think, I forget, R50, 6. Not sure 100%. The reason I went for these is because everyone knows how good Minis drive. So the front end of the Mini, obviously it's got great turning and all that sort of stuff. 4 bolts. And you can change the cartridge bearing. Look, right there. So I kind of thought, well, that makes sense. It's very easy to change parts. So I got a pair of those. They are like £30 each. Adapter plates for the Brembos. Gonna make these, re-drill these. You can buy this whole assembly, very, very little. So I was like, that's a win. Everyone knows how good Minis are at turning in steering, you know, they have like mini cups, don't they? So I was kind of thinking, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? Choose something that can actually steer well, and we'll start there. Now, obviously, suspension geometry, I have kinematics, I have no idea what I'm doing, but together we can learn, right? So that's another thing. So I started with the OEM bits, that makes sense. So these I've got on, you know, near side, offside. If I end up not using these because someone in the comments is smart and says, don't use those, use something else, okay, fine. Now I've got the stub ends for the drive shafts. I'm going to chop the end off of them and then just put a cast on that on them. So that basically keeps my wheel on the road. Come through there, put a big old nut on the end of that, chop it off the other side, maybe put like some sort of fixing in it so it can't spin, and then do it up super duper tight. Now on the rear, because I've got, I assume I'm in the sun, because I've got RX-8 gearbox, rear diff, prop shaft, RX-8 rear hubs. Now, obviously, that's a rear-wheel drive car to start with. They're pretty good, standard. But why not go with it? Again, if you know different, if you know something better, tell me, and I won't use this stuff. But the way I see it is, I've got the inners and the outers. I can chop them to suit the width. Now, I don't know how wide the KA is going to be, whether it's a lot narrower than the RX-8 or roughly the same width. Either way, these are going to need adjusting, so I can cut them, sleeve them, and then send them to someone like Dave Mann to, you know, make proper. But again, Mazda spent a horrific amount of money developing the RX-8, so I may as well start with a rear hub that is fit for a rear-wheel drive purpose, right? Kind of makes sense to me, because I ain't Mazda, and they've done rear-wheel drive cars forever. So that's kind of my thinking. I've gone RX-8 gear. This is all going to get chopped out. All this floor is going to get chopped out. I'm going to put some box section in here just to like keep it square, and then chop the floor out, get the box mounted to the block, which is why I've got the spare block, get it into position. All of this, chop all this shit out. This is going to have a dash, you know, full cage with a bar here. I'm going to put ECU and PDM here, so it's really easy to access. The only piece of the puzzle I need left is I really, really, really want to put Kirky seats in something. Now I know everyone's going to say Kirky seats, they're fucking shit, but I love them and I think they'll be wonderful. So I want to put Kirky seats in something. Actually, no, I've just realised this used to be dripping wet. Looks like I had the windows open and stuff. God, that was smart of me, wasn't it? First smart decision I think I've ever made. So I want to cut the floor out of this, chop all this out, get the motor out the back, strip all the ancillaries off it, get that gearbox gone, get all these tyres gone. So I have basically a completely blank canvas, and then I can start getting things into position. Number one, I've got to have, like I said, block mounted to the gearbox, get the position of the shifter where I want it with the seat in position. The steering column and the steering wheel can just go where I need it to go. Now, my thoughts along the way are get the seat and the gear shifter into position, fix those locations, then build everything else around it, right? So that will then dictate the length of the prop. I'll then hang the prop where it needs to go on the center line of the rear wheels. Obviously, then you've got to put an angle on the box, angle on the diff. I can then figure out whereabouts roughly things start to fit, and then I can work out suspension droop. Again, no idea. How long the shafts need to be. Where I want the wheel to sit, obviously, I want the wheel to sit perfectly flush with that. The offset's got to be perfect. Now, the offset on the wheels is determined by the wheels I've got. So what I need to do is position the wheel, mount it to the hub with the disc on it and all that stuff. I need to make a jig, which I'm going to do underneath the car. I'm going to do it one side, then I'm going to basically mirror it. I'm going to sign all in fusion, and then build my way back. Now the rear's going to be push rod, so that kind of keeps things inboard, so I can then get the wheel where I want the wheel, and then push it all inboard. These are obviously going to be my pickup points and my mounts off these hubs anyway. Again, if you'll notice, I've chose all alley stuff, so it's all lightweight. The front's going to be different because I'm going to build the top mounts wherever I want them. So the top mounts will just kind of end up geometry wise where they need to be, and then I'll push the cage out to those points. And again, I am totally fucking freestyling. I really want to get into composites with this car as well. So things like rear arch protectors. I'm going to build some big old seals out of here, and I'm going to try and do a bit of a weird blue, not imperial blue to Kevlar yellow contrast with this car. So whereas the Focus was sort of a graphite-y imperial blue to graphite, this is going to be blue but to yellow, inspired by the bonnet. It's not going to have a yellow bonnet on it, I can promise you that. But all the bits and pieces that I make for it, big old side skirts, are going to be spoiler, everything's going to be carbon Kevlar. That's the plan anyway, because I've seen the Grouse Street boys and how much they struggle with it, and those boys are good. Do I stand a chance? Probably not. Am I going to have a go? Yes, because I like punishment. So anyway, whatever. But here we're going to have dash bar, steering column, bosh. But ultimately, I'm not going to know what's going on with this until I start chopping it up. But you can see here it's got the old shit rear beam in it. That's all got to go in the bin and get chopped out. And I just need basically to start chopping it out and start figuring out what I want and where I want things. I think a lot of it is going to dictate where it needs to go, and then I'm going to have to sort of fill in the blanks. That's obviously going to stay, because that's coarse shit. It's going to need a spoiler right out here. Again, that's going to be cage or chassis mounted, I'm not sure. The beauty of this is, it's not worth anything. This car is not worth nothing. Like the Focus is a thing, right? It's a numbered car. This isn't worth anything. So I don't need to protect anything. I just need this to be my development. My fabrication skills aren't that good, but together I think we can build something cool. And in the meantime, if things take off, maybe I can get a little bit of space and I can have a bit more space for fabrication. At the moment, I'm stealing the girlfriend's gym, so no more gym, girl. I'm sorry, you've not used it for long enough. You've lost gym privileges. Your membership is revoked. Karen, the GT3 killer. Can we build one? There's the base. I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a roll. So you can see the carbon weave on the back panel there, a little bit. Little bit. And sometimes see it's just coming through there. It's GT40, isn't it? No, not GT40, F40 at this point. GT40. Anyway, that's the goal. The goal is to build something that could worry Porsche. Stress a Porsche out on track. Our job's done. From this to something, because this is not something to be proud of, but I want to be able to pull something out of the garage that we are proud of. And I want everyone to be involved in it. I want us to build this car. I want people to say, nah, Matt, don't do that. Do this, do blah, blah, blah. I want this to be something that we achieve together, because none of us right now can afford a GT3 unless there's a massive, price dump. We ain't getting one. So let's build something that shouldn't be cool, make it fast, and let's get this shit on the track and put some decent times in. Worry some of them Porsche pigs, because we do love building something that's silly. This could be it. Can't wait to bring you all along for the journey. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, follow, hit the alert thing, whatever you need to do. It does matter, it does help me, and I think if anything, it just gets us up the algorithm, so more views, more ad revenue. I'm not in this to make money. The whole point is, if we make money, it goes directly back into these things. And I have bought another little project for the future, but I'm not announcing that yet, because this has to be a success. If this is a success, then the next thing will be cool. And again, I'm not building these, I'm building things that shouldn't be cool to be cool, to scratch an itch in my brain. I'm not building this for any other reason other than I think this KA could be cool. I think this could be a weapon. I think it's something we could all be proud of. Just say, yeah, we did that. We built something that is a monster. It handles how it shouldn't. It does things it shouldn't. We can all say, yeah, we got behind that. And the next thing will be equally as cool, if not cooler. But one day I hope to have this at a show, sitting somewhere. Someone watching this video right now comes up to me and says, Mal, I thought you were absolutely fucking mental building a KA, but actually, fair play, we've built something amazing. That's the goal. Just build cool shit, because people aren't doing it anymore. Remapping the down part. It's not building cars, is it? So it's on us to make a change. Great philosopher Tupac once said that. We have to uphold it. Let's go, gang.